Good. How about you?
Thank you. Good. Doing great. Okay. So before we start up with the demonstration session, okay, let me introduce myself first. Okay, I'm Jay,
Good.
working as an FICO consultant. Okay, I'm having an experience of about 7+ years, and in online trainings I have 4+ years of trainings.
Okay,
Okay.
in SAP?
Yes, in SAP.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so this is about myself, and prior to SAP, I worked as an accounts manager in a construction company for a couple of years, for about 3+ years, and totally I'm having an experience about 3 plus 8, 11+ years of experience, 3
Sounds
in
good.
domain and 8 in SAP. And as
Sounds
a
good.
trainer, this is my fourth+ year. Okay.
Okay, sounds
So
good.
yeah. Before we start up with the session, can I have your background? So based on that, I'll start up my session.
I'm an IT guy. I work in data warehousing. As of now, I work as a data warehouse designer.
Great. Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm almost 9 years of experience.
Yeah. You are
And
basically from?
for FICO, do you need the deep knowledge of accounting?
If you have a basic accounting knowledge, that is more than sufficient.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I think you are commerce graduate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. You are located from?
I'm from Chicago.
Great. Great. Excellent.
And
Okay.
I'm trying
So,
to move into SAP for better prospects.
okay.
And I thought FICO would be a good one. FICO, SAP FICO functional consultant like that. What do you say?
Correct.
SAP FICO
Correct.
functional consultant will be a good
Yeah.
one, right?
Yes, yes. The notion which you have, the opinion you have is very much correct, sir. Okay. I'll tell you the reason during our discussion. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Right. Hope my voice is clearly audible.
Yeah, it is. It is. Not a problem.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. Right. Me also, from your side, I don't have any disturbances. Your voice is clearly audible to me.
Okay,
Excellent.
good.
Yeah. Okay. So before we start up with FICO, actually we are here to discuss about FICO. That means what are all the contents that we are going to cover during the training, how we conduct the training program for the students. Okay. So before we start up all those things, before we go in depth of the course and all those things, let us have a brief discussion about SAP and ERP. Okay.
Sure.
Right. Do you have any idea about ERP? What is ERP? Why it is used? How many?
Yeah, I do have an idea on ERP. ERP is Enterprise Resource Planning, right? I mean, it is a combined integration of all the departments into a single system in a company.
Excellent. Excellent, sir.
Right?
What you said is very much right. Okay. Right. So as you said, ERP is nothing but Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay. So basically, the question comes, why ERP is required for an organization, or what is the advantage we have with the ERP? So if you look at the abbreviation of ERP, you will understand the purpose of ERP. Okay. So ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. It says Enterprise Resource Planning. See, the basic fundamental point is, if any organization wants to have success, any organization wants to earn higher profits, any organization wants to maximize its wealth, any organization wants to have a good financial position, any business entity which wants to run its business successfully than its competitors. Okay. So to achieve all these objectives, the basic thing required by any business organization is it has to make use of the available resources effectively. Do you agree with my statement, sir?
That's true.
So if any organization is able to make use of the resources effectively, then it can achieve its objectives, then it can achieve its goals, it can run its business successfully. But the main headache comes, how to make use of the available resources effectively. That is where the problem comes.
Okay.
So an organization can make use of its resources effectively. Listen to my explanation carefully, sir. Okay.
Sure, sure.
If I am going fast, please let me know so that I'll go further slow.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
So if any organization wants to make use of its resources effectively, first of all, it has to plan the resources effectively. Unless it has a plan, unless it has an effective plan, okay? Rather than having a plan, if an organization has an effective plan, then it can make use of the resources effectively. That means, first of all, organization has to plan the resources. It has to plan the resources effectively so that it can make use of them effectively. In turn, it will result in good profits and good wealth. Am I right, sir?
Yeah.
But the point is planning the resources effectively. So planning the resources is a big headache for any organization, any higher management. Planning is a big task. It's a very tough task, and this particular tough task, this particular big headache will be simplified using the feature called ERP. So basically, each and every ERP is based at planning the resources effectively. So there are number of ERPs are available in the market, like you have SAP is one among them, Oracle Financials, JD Edwards, EBAN, Ramco, Microsoft Dynamics, Marshalls. Likewise, we have more number of ERPs are available in the market. Out of these number of ERPs are available, SAP is the number one ERP. Okay. SAP has taken number one position in all the ERPs which are available in the market. Why? Okay. What made SAP to stood in the first position, in the first rank? The basic reason behind that is SAP as an ERP. Listen to my explanation carefully, sir.
Yeah.
SAP as an ERP, it can communicate with any other third-party tool used by the business organization. It can communicate comfortably any other third-party tool. Third-party tool, when I say, it might be using some software which is based at C, C++ or Java or .NET or whatever may be the platform. Okay, irrespective of the platform based software or hardware it is using for its business organization, SAP as an ERP, it can communicate comfortably, it can communicate coolly, conveniently with that particular software or tool which is being used by the organization. That means as an ERP, SAP, it can send data and it can receive the data comfortably. This particular flexibility is not there with other ERPs. That is the reason why. That is the reason why SAP has taken number one position in the market. Okay, and one more reason why SAP is number one. Okay, you cannot name a scenario. You cannot name a business scenario which cannot be met by SAP. You take any business scenario, you name any business scenario, whether the business organization is into service sector or into manufacturing sector, whether it is in service industry or into manufacturing industry, irrespective of the industry in which an organization is operating, it can use SAP as an ERP for automizing its business process related to various departments within that organization. So this is one of the reasons why SAP has become number one in the market. Okay? Hope I'm clear with my explanation, sir.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, coming to the SAP. See, actually, you and me have joined this GoToMeeting session to discuss about FICO, right?
Yeah.
But more than FICO, these are all the basic fundamentals we need to learn as we are beginnings in SAP, right? Beginners in SAP. Okay. So, and these are all the points which will motivate us to learn SAP FICO. Based on this, we can understand the market. We can guess the market so that we can take the decision whether we can go for it or not.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So coming to the SAP. So SAP, as I said, it's an ERP. Okay, and regarding the I would like to give some statistics about SAP, sir. Okay, it is third largest software company in the world, third largest, and it has started its business in the year 1973 in the Germany Waldorf city. It has the origin of SAP is from Germany Waldorf city, and from 1973 SAP has started. Okay, then so far every day, per day, if you take, more than 12 millions of users work on SAP. Okay. And so far more than 1,600,000 SAP installations have been done by various organizations across the world. Okay. And more than 120 countries across the globe, business organizations are using SAP as an ERP for their business automation. Okay? Okay. So based on this, we can assume the career is high in SAP when compared to other ERPs and other softwares. This is one of the reasons why, and most of the organizations are using SAP, and this is the reason why the SAP consultants are highly paid in the market. Okay. Okay. So this is about just to for your benefit sake, I have given these statistics. Okay. Then coming to the SAP. SAP as an ERP. From this point onwards, please do provide your concentration, sir. This is very, very important. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So SAP as an ERP, basically it has two divisions within it. Two divisions. It has divided into two parts, you can say, two basic divisions. One division is related to technical division, okay, and another division belongs to functional division. Okay. So coming to the technical division, I don't explain much about technical division because we are not related to technical part, because we are related to functional. Okay. Sure. So coming to the technical division of SAP is meant for those candidates who are already equipped with some programming knowledge, those who are having working experience, or those who are having knowledge in C, C++, Java or .NET, whatever the programmings are there related to computer, IT. For them, the technical wing of SAP is meant for, basically. Okay. Okay. And coming to the functional wing. Functional wing of SAP is meant for those candidates who are having experience in finance, accounting, inventory, and production, and human resource, HR, okay, and marketing, sales and distribution. So those who are having experience in these areas, for them the functional wing of SAP is meant for. Okay. Right. So coming to the functional wing, again in functional wing, it has divided into number of subdivisions. Okay. In functional division, the functional division of SAP has divided into number of subdivisions. Each subdivision in SAP terminology, we call it as module. Okay. Am I clear, sir? Yeah. Okay. So each subdivision within the functional wing of SAP, we call it as module. Likewise, in SAP, we have finance as a module, controlling as a module, okay, production planning as a module, sales and distribution as a module, material management as a module, CRM, SRM, HR, project systems. Like that, we have different functional modules. Okay. And in these functional modules, FICO is meant for the candidates, those who are with some accounting background or finance background. Okay. Okay. Now let us discuss about finance and controlling, please. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So coming to the finance, first, before we going to look into the contents that we covered during the finance, hope you must have received the contents, I believe.
No.
If not, I'll share, no problem. I'll share, don't worry. Okay. So coming to the finance, the contents that we cover, before we go with the contents, first let us try to understand the importance of finance module in real time. of a business organization. Okay. See, a business using the finance module of SAP, a business organization can extract various financial reports at various different levels of the organization. I'll repeat once again for your clarity's sake, sir.
Sure.
Using the finance module, a business organization can get various financial reports at different levels of the organization, which are very, very important for higher management in taking effective decisions related to financial matters.
Okay.
Am I clear with my statement?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this particular generating various reports which are having financial impact on the organization can be extracted using the finance module. Okay. Apart from this, using the finance module, a business organization can generate financial statements like profit and loss account and balance sheet as and when it wants in a single click.
Okay.
Within no time you can generate these two statements, profit and loss account and balance sheet. And you know the importance of profit and loss account and balance sheet in case of a business organization as you are from accounts background.
Yeah, they can pull it at any time, right? Any time of the year?
Yes. Any time of the year within no time. Maximum you can take 5 to 10 seconds. Okay. So,
and all the organizations which are using SAP should be using finance, right?
Must and should.
Yeah.
The reason behind that is, I'll tell you the reason behind that. Okay. Without finance, we cannot imagine an organization.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more important point is, SAP has made it FI module as a mandatory module to use, because whether the business organization is into service sector or manufacturing sector, it has to go with finance, right?
So they can't just take the SAP HR, right?
No, they can't take just like that. Okay, because without finance we cannot imagine a business organization, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So finance is a mandatory element for any business organization, irrespective of the sector in which it is operating. So that is the reason why if any business organization wants to go for SAP implementation, must and should implement finance module as a mandatory module, and hence the FI consultants are highly demanded in the market.
Okay.
That is the reason why they have high career when compared to other module consultants. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why FI is having higher scope in getting the jobs. Okay. So this is about just basic preview or overview of finance module, and coming to the contents. So basically, I won't be explaining each and everything, the contents which I have mentioned in the document, sir. Okay, because it's a demonstration. Okay. When we take up the actual session, I'll be going in depth of each and every content that I have mentioned in this document. Hope you are able to see my document.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
it has started with
basic finance settings. If you go to enterprise structure, you just show the settings, or you will explain the purpose of that too?
Sir, first my way of approaching is, first I'll take up one concept, I'll explain you the theoretical concept, I'll give one real-time example, how it will be realized in real time, and then settings, then how it will be used. Okay. So now coming to the finance, these first we'll be starting up with the basic settings, in where we will be studying enterprise structure, creation, what is company code, and what is business area, what is fiscal year, posting period, different types. Okay. Just you can go through this. They will send you this document either as it is or in PDF format. Okay. Then once we're done with basic settings, I'll be starting up with general ledger accounting. Okay. So in general ledger accounting, various topics, these are all the topics that I cover. What is a general ledger, how general ledger is important in real time, and how data will be captured in real time when a transaction is processed in the system. What is general ledger, what is general ledger master, how many types of general ledgers we can create in the system, and how to process transactions. That means basically here what I need to explain you is, as far as concerned to SAP, there are two job categories, sir, first of all. Okay, one is end user area, another one is consultant area. One is an end user area, another one is consultant area. Then the question, we need to have a clarity regarding who is an end user and who is a consultant. First, let me explain the responsibility or role of an end user in real time. Okay, important to understand, sir. Okay. So end user is a person who will be engaged in data processing. When you speak about a business organization, so many number of activities, so many transactions will be happened, right? So whatever the transactions are occurring, whatever the business transactions are occurring in daily routine life of a business, all those transactions needs to be recorded, needs to be processed in the system, and that processing, that transaction processing, that data processing will be done by a person called end user. Hope I'm clear with my explanation. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, yeah. So this is what is about end user. Coming to the consultant. Who is a consultant? To understand the role of the consultant, again we need to understand role of an end user. When we were discussing about an end user, I said that end user is a person who is responsible, who will be engaged with the data processing, right? Hello? Yeah. So in order to process the transactions into the system, in order to process the transactions into the system by the end user, some backend settings are very much required. In order to process the transactions by the end user, some backend settings are very much required. These backend settings we call in SAP terminology as either customization settings or configurational settings. Okay. So these required customization or configurational settings will be done by a person called consultant. So what is the role of a consultant? Role of a consultant, the consultant will do the required settings so that end user can process the transactions effectively. Otherwise, it is not possible for the end user to process the transactions. Okay. So during the training, you will be trained both in consultant area as well as in end user area. Okay. Because our target is to become a consultant, not to become an end user. Okay. The reason is very simple, sir. As a consultant, you will be paid very high. As an end user, you will be paid low. Okay. And you will have a greater career, higher scope to visit all over the abroad, all over the countries in the world as a consultant. But as an end user, you will be restricted to one particular organization and your role is very less. You won't be having challenging role. When you do not have challenging role, you won't be having much career, much salaries, right? Yeah. Whatever we learn, whatever we work, sir, ultimately we work for money, right? Yeah. So wherever the money is high, we should go for that. Yeah. Okay, because we have every opportunity, we have every courage, we have every talent to grab that money. So concentrate on the consultant area. Okay, but to become a very good consultant, you must and should be a very good end user. You need to have good knowledge in end user side as well as in consultant side. Okay. So during the training, you will be trained in both the areas simultaneously. Okay. So this is how general ledger, these are all the things that we cover in general ledger, that is reference document, document reversal, recurring documents. Okay, roughly I'm going through the contents, sir. Account assignment model and hold documents and what is document parking. At this document parking concept, I will be letting you know some technical parts, technical concepts, though we are not related to that, I'll be explaining you for your benefit sake. Okay. Right. So after document parking, we'll be going through what is open item management, how open item will be processed in the system, what is intercompany or cross-company code transaction, how intercompany transaction, when a transaction happens between two entities of the same organization, how those transactions will be processed and what are all the backend settings required so that system will allow us to process the intercompany transactions. Then after completing that, I'll be covering foreign currency valuation. Okay. In foreign currency valuation, we will be dealing with if any transaction happens in foreign currency other than the local currency. Okay. Suppose if you have an organization in India, you are doing business in India as well as in US, assume like that. Okay. So for India, INR is the local currency. If any transaction happened by Indian group in other countries, how that transaction will be processed and what are all the settings required so that system will allow us to process the transactions in other currencies also. Those things will be studied. That means in each and every topic we will be concentrating on configurational area as well as end user area, both the sides. Okay. Then once we are through with foreign currency, I'll be starting up with accounts payable. So basically in accounts payable, in real time we call it as PTP, sir. PTP.
Okay.
PTP stands for procure to pay. Correct. Procure to pay. Basically we will be concentrating on vendor related scenarios. Okay. How vendors will be created in the system, how the transactions done with the vendor will be processed in the system, like raising a purchase invoice, processing a payment, okay, automatic payments, payments through bank, payments through check, payments through direct bank transfer, various kinds of scenarios related to vendors will be seen under vendor management or accounts payable. So these are all the contents that will be covered in vendor management, sir. Okay. Then while discussing about vendor management, though it is not part and parcel of finance and controlling module, I'll be covering some treasury module concepts also.
Okay.
Okay, for because having knowledge in treasury module along with FICO is always advantageous.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's the reason why I will include treasury module, some part of treasury module which is required for an FICO consultant, which is required to become a qualitative FI consultant.
Okay.
Okay, that will be covered in accounts payable. Then once we are through with accounts payable, I'll be going to accounts receivable, which is related to customer management. In SAP real time, we call it as OTC. Hope you must be knowing OTC. What is OTC?
Other two.
Cash. Exactly, sir. Okay. So you are very much equipped with the terminology, sir.
Yeah.
Great. So OTC cycle will be covering. In OTC, basically the scenarios related to sales. That is how to create a customer in the system, how to process a customer invoice, how to process payments received from the customers, how many different kinds of ways of processing payments received from the customers, and all those things will be studied in customer management. And once we are through with accounts payable and accounts receivable, I'll be covering input tax and output tax. That is taxation part, sir, which is very difficult for so many candidates. Okay. I'll be covering this input tax and output tax. Then I'll be starting with asset accounting. So you know very well, without assets, without properties, we cannot imagine a business organization, right? So the accounting related to assets also will be covered in FI. So once we are through with asset accounting, that means FI is completed. Okay. So FI module is completed. So these are all the contents. These are all the
accounts receivable, accounts payable, and asset accounting.
Asset accounting and general ledger account. Enterprise structure, basic enterprise structure. Okay. So these are all the things that I'll be covering. And once we are through with asset accounting, we'll be switching over to the next module, that is controlling module.
Okay.
Okay. So before we start up with the controlling module contents that we covered during the training, okay, let us try to understand the importance of controlling module first. Okay. Why controlling module is required by business organization? Okay. See, sir, each and every business organization is interested in earning profits or not.
Yeah.
Definitely, everybody is interested in earning profits.
Yeah.
To increase or to earn more profits, there are two ways, sir, basically. Okay. One is either increasing the sales revenue, or second way is instead of increasing sales revenue, if it can reduce the cost, also it can increase the profit, right? Okay. Most of the organizations, if you observe nowadays, recent trends, most of the organizations are interested in reducing the cost rather than increasing the revenue. Can you guess the reason behind that, sir?
To make more profit.
No, to make more. Objective is that. But why organizations, most of the organizations are not looking for increasing the revenue? Why they are looking into reducing the cost? The reason is very simple, sir. Okay. Increasing the sales revenue is not in the hands of the organization. It is in the hands of the market, right? Consumer,
yeah.
Right? Whereas reducing the cost is in the hands of the organization. Correct?
Yeah, you're right.
If it can reduce the cost, it can increase the profit.
Yeah.
But how to reduce the cost and why organizations are interested in earning the more profits? The reason is if an organization is earning more profits, definitely it can pay more dividend to the shareholders. If it is paying more dividends to the shareholders, nothing but share value in the market will be increased for that organization or not.
Yeah.
Share value increased, nothing but wealth of the organization is getting increased. So that is the impact of higher profits. So organization, when an organization is earning continuously year by year higher profits, it can increase, it can maximize wealth of the shareholders, wealth of the organization. Therefore, each and every organization is interested in earning higher profits. But how to increase the profit? By reducing the cost. But how to reduce the cost is a big headache, right? So this controlling module, while designing controlling module, SAP has taken a lot of care and it has developed controlling module exclusively to achieve the primary objective called reducing the cost. So using the controlling module, an organization can reduce the cost to the maximum extent possible in the long run. Okay. So that is the reason why each and every organization is interested in implementing, in using controlling module for its business. Okay. Now, hope you have understood the purpose of controlling module, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Now coming to the controlling module, what are all the topics that I cover is basic settings first I'll cover, then I'll be covering cost element accounting, then cost center accounting. Okay, and these are all the topics that I cover under cost center accounting. What is a cost center? How do we create a cost center? What is the importance of cost center with respect to real time? Okay, what are all the advantages we have with cost center concept and cost element concept in real time, and month end and period end processes like cost center reposting, cost center distribution, and cost center assessment. Okay, will be covered in cost center accounting. Once we are through with cost center accounting, I'll be discussing in detail about internal order. What is an internal order? Why is an internal order? Where is an internal order? Okay, how is an internal order? Okay, when is an internal order is required in real time of a business organization, and how we make use of the advantages of internal order concept in real time. Okay, how it is very much useful to the higher management. Okay, also will be studied in internal orders. Once we are through with internal orders, I'll be discussing about budgeting concept. This is one of the beautiful feature provided by SAP, sir, budgeting. Okay. So what is that feature? I'll explain during the course. Okay. Then once we are through with that, I'll be starting with profit center accounting. In profit center accounting, these are all the topics. What is a profit center accounting? What is a profit center? How various reports will be generated at profit center levels, and how different reports related to the profit will be generated at different levels of the organization, and what are all the backend settings required to achieve this object. Those things will be studied under profit center accounting. Okay.
Okay.
So once we are done with profit center accounting, nothing but we are through with FICO course, actually speaking. But my training will not stop here itself. Okay. Apart from this, I'll be covering various reports and miscellaneous topics. Various reports used in real time, and also I'll be covering miscellaneous topics. Apart from these various reports and miscellaneous topics, I'll be covering month-end activities and year-end activities in finance and controlling module. Month-end activities and year-end activities in finance and controlling module in real time. What are all the month-end or period-end activities are there in finance module and controlling module in real time. Okay. Apart from this, as and when the as and when the topic demands, okay, when I'm explaining a particular topic, okay, if I come across whatever, suppose if I'm explaining you internal order, okay, so at the time of explaining internal order, when I was working in project, okay, I must have faced some problems related to internal order. I must have resolved problems related to internal order. At that time, I'll be sharing my experiences.
Okay.
So that those experiences will be helpful when you attend the interviews.
Yeah.
Okay. When you set up your resume, those things will be very much interested, very much useful. Okay.
And you'll be helping in the resume too?
Definitely, sir.
Okay.
That is my interesting area.
Okay. That's good.
Okay. So I'm through with my demonstration, sir. Before I through with my demonstration, okay. So I have forgotten to tell you about the one more point related to importance of controlling module. Okay. So basically, controlling module will help the organization in generating various reports. Okay, it will help the higher management in generating various reports which will have impact on the cost factors.
Okay.
So looking at those reports, higher management can take effective decisions to how to control the cost.
Okay.
Okay, that is one of the advantages with the controlling module. I'm done with my session, sir. If you have any queries related to the subject, you can ask me.
I have some concerns.
Please.
Yeah, and honestly, how long do you think? I mean, it will take for a guy like me to finish all these things?
It will take around 2 months, sir. 60 sessions.
Okay. You mean if you take it daily?
Daily, sir.
What about in the weekends for 3 hours? Which one is good?
No, if you want me to tell honestly, I suggest you to go for daily basis, sir.
Oh, okay.
See, we are ready to provide services. That's not an issue.
I know.
It's up to you. If you want weekend batch, we are ready. If you want daily batch, I am ready. But my personal suggestion is, if you take the subject as a tonic, that will help you a lot, sir.
Yes, I understand it, but the thing is, what if, I mean, daily in the sense, we need to make time for that, right? I mean, suppose if I can't make it today, I mean, are you guys going to explain it the other day, or is it one-to-one?